and thank you for tuning in to Amy Hill Creates. And this video is featuring Annette Green's new release for the Elizabeth Craft design. For those of you who don't know, Annette just released an amazing new collection, and I wanted to review some of that with you. And first up is this Harmonious Hodgepodge paper pack. And Annette has just done an amazing job of putting together some beautiful papers. I, of course, have to show them all to you. The paper has this like amazing feel to it. It's just really, really nice, thick quality paper. And of course, I have a hard time with double-sided paper because I don't know which side to use because they're all really gorgeous. They all coordinate together. And I just can't really wait to dive into this. I'll be having some follow-up videos and where I will show you how to use or the ways that I would use this paper, but it really is just gorgeous, high quality paper, and I'm really excited about it. And these are going to come fast and furious, but this is the borders and trims. This is a 9 die set. Just love a lot of the ideas here. The classic alphabet die set and the Succulents and Pots, which I'll be featuring in this video. The layered butterfly die set and twiggy things. I'll be featuring that in a future video. And we have the Everyday Words 3, which go along with 1 and 2. And the fancy cutaways. Oh, I love these. They're perfect for the ATC trading size. Circles, banners, and ribbons, which goes along with the Phrases and Dingbats stamp set. Look at all those great sentiments that are on there. And then we have the Travel and Postage stamp set. And I just love that big, huge script block at the bottom. And then we have the Love and Roses stamp set. Everything's fabulous. I am featuring in this video the Succulents and Pots die set. And what I'm going to be doing is using dies as stamps. But first I need to get some color down on some paper. And I tend to, when I die cut, I either will use colored paper that I already have, or I'll make what I want. And in this case, I'm making what I want. And so I'm just blending over. And this is scrap paper. I literally just had a piece of paper on my desk. I just grabbed it and I'm just inking up one side. You can see with that espresso ink. And this one is like a really, really nice, beautiful evergreen, which is why it's called evergreen, like a dark pine needle green. And I'm going to cut some things out of this. So first I'm going to cut a set of leaves from the Succulents and Pots die set. And then I'm going to grab a piece of rickrack. And that is from the Borders die set. And then you have the pot from the Succulents die set. You see that cute rickrack in the brown. And you even get this little extra piece that you can use left over. And here is one of the pots. And I actually like how this blended, where I have kind of a lighter top on the bottom, and it's dark lighter on the top and darker on the bottom. And you can see how that fits in. It is so cute how those two fit in together. Now I wanted to jazz up this pot, so I'm actually going to emboss. So I'm using one of the other dies, and I am just using my embossing mat, going along with what it says on my machine. And as I take this off, you can see I tear a little bit of it, but that's okay. We'll fix that with some inking. But you can see how cute that is. So it just adds a little bit of extra dimension to that pot. And now when we put those leaves in, you can see how cute they go together. So we're going to be stamping because I want to give my little pot and leaves some friends, but I didn't want to add too much bulk to this card. So one way to do that is to create your own stamps from a die set. And that's just by using some fun foam and just running that through your die cutting machine, and voila, you have stamps. They're not, of course, not as hardy as polyacrylic stamps or rubber stamps, but they'll do the job and they give a really nice soft look, and you'll be able to see that later on. So I'm going to start by taking a piece of 80-pound cardstock, and I'm just cutting this down to 4 by 5 1/4, and that's because I want a little edge on my card. And I just wanted to show you, so this looks cute right now, but I wanted to give them some friends. And so you can see the 4 pieces that I die cut out of foam, and I also die cut out an extra pot and an extra set of leaves because I want to give my main image a little bit of heft. I also want to give my main image a little bit of depth. So I'm taking that same evergreen ink and I'm just going around with those leaves, and I'm just inking up the outside so you can see it gives it a little bit of glow. And then I'm taking a lighter brown and I'm going along the edges of the pot, and I am inking that up, and then I'm adding a little bit of green, and because I wanted to add like a little bit of like a moss patina. Sadie was helping out there. And then I'm going to glue those pots together, and again, that just gives it a little bit of heft, so this will stand out from the card front. And then I needed to give it a little bit of shine, so I'm adding some embossing ink to my leaves, and I'm using a product that unfortunately is no longer available. It's called Translucent Pearl. It's from Altenew, but I strongly recommend reach around in your own embossing powder. Look for like a verdigris or a pearl or a sparkle, like a clear sparkle, or you can even add some like iridescent shimmer spray and some clear embossing powder, and you'll get the same look. Or even use glitter paper. Die cut this out of glitter paper, really cute. And so you can just see that shine that's on there. And now when I put these two together, it really starts to elevate that image. Just a little bit of extra blending and a little bit of some embossing powder, you can see. So now when I put this together, now it looks kind of cool, but again, still needs some friends. So I'm going to start here by figuring out where I want to put these. And so I have the two pots and I have the two sets of leaves. And I'm going to put one pot higher than the other, one a little bit lower, so they're not all in the same plane, and figuring out which set of leaves. And this set of leaves is very tall, so it goes along with the height of the card. And then this set of leaves, you can see part of that curves down, and so that's going to be able to fill in that part of the card space. And now when I put the die cut on top of that, now we can see it starts to fill up that space. All right, so now we're going to start stamping. So all I do is I just take some temporary adhesive, some dry adhesive, and I just put that on my foam, and then I put that onto a stamp block. And here I'm starting out, and just by tapping all over the image with some light brown ink, and then I'm going to come in with some dark brown, and I just want to get the corners here. I'm not stamping all over it. I just want to get the corners, and you can see how it's very, very separated. So I'm going to come in with my mini blending tool, and this is going to smooth those edges. So I'm just kind of pushing that ink up. I didn't ink my tool. I'm just taking the ink that's on the stamp already, and I'm just blending it up so those edges are now soft. So now when I go ahead and stamp this, and I recommend, I'm not showing it here, but I recommend really making sure that you have good, strong contact with that paper. So hold that down for a little while just to make sure that that ink really gets into the paper. And so when I take this off, you are able to see this beautiful soft image, and you can see the two colors there and that depth that's in there, and it's just from a piece of foam. So we're going to do the second pot now, and I'm coming in with a darker orange, and I'm going all over the pot with this. And I actually like how it's distressed. I'm kind of into that look. I think it looks good here. And then I'm just coming around with a darker orange. And again, I'm going to blend those out. And that's just going to make sure I don't have any harsh lines. Everything's blended, but I still want to keep that difference between the dark and the light section. So now I'm going to stamp this. Again, make sure you have good contact. Hold that down for a little bit. Make sure that that contact is there. Then when you lift that up, now we have our second pot. So for the leaves, I have a little bit of a caveat. These leaves have handedness to them, meaning that there is a certain way that they go. The pots aren't really like that. It doesn't matter which way you put it down. So you can see I put it on the paper first, and then I picked it up to make sure I had it going the right way. The leaves were going the right way. And I'm starting with a bright green, and then I'm adding a darker green, and then an even darker green just at the tips and at the base of this leaf. And now I'm going to do the same thing, just take a mini blending tool and just start to blend all of those edges together. And this is just to make sure that there's gradients, that there's no striping, and everything looks cohesive like it is one leaf. So you can see what I say about the handedness. So I wanted to make sure that that leaf went down, which is why I made sure. Oh, isn't that just so cute? So that nice bright green, you can see we have sections where it's a little bit darker and it's a little bit lighter. So again, handedness. So I am putting this on. I want to make sure it's going the right way, the way that I want it to. And once I have it, then you can see I'm going to pull it off. I'm going to put some tape on, and then that tape side immediately goes down, and I'm going to check this to make sure that it's going in the right direction. Yep, that's what I want. And so now I'm going to use a different color green. So I'm using like a yellowy green on this one, where the first leaf had a bright green. So this one was a yellowy green. So I'm going to stamp all over with that ink, and then I'm going to come in with a darker color. Now I'm not going to use the mini ink blending tool on this one. Instead, I want you to notice what happens when you don't use the ink blending tool, that you're going to get these stripes. And I was actually going for that look because I was thinking about a stripy leaf on this one. So now when I put this down, again, I'm making good contact. Can you see those stripes? You see how it looks different from the other one? That there's more variation between those leaves. So it really just depends on what you're going for. All right, so now I'm putting this in. I like how it looks, but we got to put a sentiment in. So I'm grabbing the All Occasion sentiment, and this is from Annette's last release. So this is a prior item, and I'm just picking that up from my mat onto a stamp block, and I'm going to stamp the Get Well Soon sentiment right in that corner. This is a really great stamp set. If you haven't picked this one up yet, it's really fabulous because I love the typeface. It is, there are literally, it is all occasions, like everything is in there. So now I need to give my card a little bit of a base. So I'm going to grab that piece of rickrack that I had already die cut out from our blended piece. I'm just going to tear that off, cut it out nice and neat, and then just glue that down. And you can see that that's going to stretch our Get Well Soon over all the way to the left. And then I'm going to add a piece going up, and that's just going to give us a frame. So that way everything doesn't look like it's floating. So just kind of put this in, add just a little bit of glue, and I'm just going to hold that down and adhere it. And I'm just going to let that top float. I'll cut that off later. And so now it's time to add in our main attraction, our die cuts. So I'm going to put the pot down first. Oh, it just looks great. So you see how you have those 3 different colors of pots. And I now put the leaves down, but I didn't love how it was laying. So I grabbed a pen, I started cutting, and then I grabbed a pen to see exactly how much width I needed. And I just cut that little section out. And that way my green leaves can actually be put down nice and flat. So I'll just glue these down, and they're going to stay there for that. The final part after this is just cutting off the rest of that rickrack. And I'm going to mount this to a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 green note card. And this is a side folding note card, but I just love how that looks. I love the shine, the little patina on the pot in the front, and just how soft those back pots and their leaves look. I think it's a really cute card. And I have to say, everything with Annette's release is fabulous. Please check it out, and please subscribe to my channel to see more from Elizabeth Crafts Designs. See you later.